Southeast Asian countries have this kind of challenge. But also for most countries in the world, they also face the same challenge. So several very important issues such like poverty, globalization, technology, and weak society. Also ethnicity, environment, human security, pandemic, infrastructure, and industrialization. So this is a very basic issues we may try to elaborate and try to conduct what I try to tell you about the very comprehensive model, what I try to work on it. Okay, so to begin with, I would like to share something like, is that Southeast Asia rising? Okay, just like the topic, you may have this handout from the front page, rising Southeast Asia. So now I would like to provide some very important statistic number. You may take a look. For example, the number I have is October 6th, so that is almost 2 weeks ago, but we still can see the trends. As you can see that the 10 countries and then compare with Taiwan, and you may find that confirmed infected cases. And Taiwan now is so terrible, it's almost up to 7 million. That is very unbelievable numbers. But if you look at the death rate, it's quite low. So if you compare with some other Southeast Asian countries, so for example like Vietnam, and infected is about 11, almost 11 million. But if you look at Vietnam's population, and you will see that they're probably only 10 to 15%. And you look at the other country like the Malaysia or the Philippines or Singapore, and when you consider is how terrible or how harmful for Southeast Asian country to face the COVID-19. But if you, at the same time, you compare with Taiwan, well, maybe it's still okay, especially for the Singapore, right? You may see that the death rate is quite low, and then infected cases is about, 2 million. But this is just only the statistic for your reference. And I just take this chart from the Naked newspaper, and maybe you can have a look. If you look at their performance, and this report, this research, actually is based on 121 countries. And then they try to use some indicators. And this is what they show to us. So its ranking, you may see that Cambodia performance is quite excellent. It's ranking number 4. And how about Vietnam, number 8? Malaysia, 38. And Thailand, 70. But the worst one is the Philippines. And how about Taiwan? And from this resources, and then we found that Taiwan is ranking 69. All right? And Singapore is about 23. Indonesia, 78. Laos, 89. So if you compare like this, and we will see that, well, probably the impact from the COVID-19 now, Southeast Asian country is getting better. That's what I can say from this chart. It's just only for your reference only. And poverty in Southeast Asian countries. We may see that Southeast Asian countries face a very terrible problem on poverty. But if you look at the change from the past, and then you may find some country, actually their poverty populations, in terms of percentage, it's not really so terrible like that. Actually, they are improved. But some of them, if they are getting worse, that is really, we will think that, well, they have the impact from the COVID-19. That's why they make it worse. And you may see that, for example, like Cambodia, and it's nothing different. Vietnam getting better. And how about the other countries? So especially you may see like law, they still improve, okay? But this one just only for your reference only. And I try to collect all the statistics, especially for the 10 countries in ASEAN. And you may see that the statistics is from 2019, 2020, and 2021. And for this year, estimate numbers. And then you may see that, especially for the economic, for the growth rate. And it's quite amazing for, you may see that the Philippines and Vietnam, their economic growth rate is over 7%. If you compare with Taiwan, this number is about 3.4%. And mainland China maybe can down to 3.3, or even though worse to 2.8% this year. So you may see the other country like Singapore, 3.9, and this one just for your reference. And maybe we can compare like FDI, foreign direct investment. And you may see that only 2 countries increased, Indonesia and Cambodia. And how about the other country? They dropped sharply. That is quite terrible. So this one means for national development policy, they may emphasize the importance of FDI inflow. So this one is before 2019. And then you may see that during that time, we may say, easily to say, ASEAN is rising, especially for their economic performance. And for this one, it's easier for us to look at. You may see that, except Myanmar. And then we can see China is from very high economic growth rate, and then now dropping down. And how about Vietnam? It's going up. And how about Philippines? Stays okay, right? Going up. And Cambodia going up. And also Laos going up. And Thailand is going up. You may see that this one is going up. Okay, Indonesia is going up. Only Singapore is going down. So from this statistic, and we may see that we're still very optimistic on Southeast Asia economic development compared with some other country in Asia. This is all the statistic number just try to showing us, is that really Southeast Asia countries rising, is that possible or not? And this is a currency performance in 2022. And we may see that, well, it's quite terrible for Japan. Japan's currency now is over 150 Japanese yen already. And Taiwan already break up 32 against $1, US dollars. And how about the Southeast Asia country? They're still under 10%, especially for Vietnam, and for Singapore, and for Indonesia. They're still quite strong for their currency. And this is another very important indicator, especially we emphasize the PMI, this Purchasing Managers Index. And if this index is over 50, that means their economic performance is getting better. If you're under 50, that may be in trouble, okay? So now we have this kind of perception on Southeast Asia economy is rising or not. And then now we move to very theoretical background to talking about the state, market, and society. And my idea is that you may see here in green color, state development, that we can consider it just like the state capitalism. And second one, market-led development. That is, we are very familiar about the market economy. And the third one is society-led. That will be very emphasized for the welfare. And now we use a new term, it's a people economy. Well, you may question what's the difference about the market economy and the people economy. This one we will discuss later on. And this is quite basic concept on the state how they interact with, for example, like individual freedom and social order, or equality in the distribution of benefit and the burden. And how about the market? Efficiency, emphasize, and growth and stability. And okay, for the state, you may see that I'm talking about the bring the step back in. Okay, that's very familiar, especially when you're talking about the importance of state. And we will emphasize that we'll bring the step back in to social science. And when you're talking about the market, it's very important. This one will be neoclassical, especially for the economics. They emphasize this part and emphasize for the market conformity. So how about the state? What state? The other one maybe I did it. Okay, so this is a general concept for us to thinking about every country when they pursue economic development, and these three parts or three actors that will become very important. For example, like the steady industrialization, establishing an independent national state and economy, and also active government and autonomous state, and emphasize the importance of technocratic bureaucracy. And there will be competent bureaucracy. And the market lead, well, you may see it's very simple. Minimum government and the free market, free trade, and also government intervention inhibiting growth. And how about the state lead? And also you may see that development policy of local economy, they will be important. And local society. And this one related to human development and the social welfare, also social institution and value, the influence of civil society and the social movement. Also, it becomes very important, the rise of democratic populism. So these three types, if we bring here, make a very short conclusion, and then you may see that the superior mechanism of the state over society and the market. And this one, since we're approaching developmental state and the development of social state capitalism. And how about the superior mechanism of society over the state and the market? And then you may see that approaching civil society with democracy or the emergence of populism, democracy on the welfare, development, and people economy. And how about the market? If on the top, over the state and society, they will be approaching the policy of market capitalism and globalization. So if we put all together, you may see this chart. And very quite simple, it's state, market, and society, how it works together. And this one, you may see state capitalism, and on the right-hand side, state socialism, there's the people economy. And the bottom line is the laissez-faire, is the free economy. And their purpose and their motivation is quite different. And how do we consider, if you put together, since they have different purpose, different interests, and also they may have different needs. So that will be have the conflict between them. And how do you find what's the best balance for these three actors? And this one you can go further, elaborate, and then you may see that for the state, only two purposes, especially facing the market and society, that will be economic growth. For every country's government, these two purposes or two goals they have to fulfill in order to earn their state power. One is economic growth, the other one is poverty alleviation. And when you look down, and then you will see that commenting economy, especially from the control of the state. And for the right-hand side, human development and security, they will be emphasized. So if you're going down, and then you can see social welfare and then employment. This is quite far away from state. And this one will be based on economic, always emphasize that new classical theory to look at. Well, the best government is the least intervention on economy. And we go further, two concepts. You may have something to think. One is a democratic governance versus authoritarian governance. And overall, you still can see some very important concept. All right, if we bring back the human security, and that for sure, if you would like to focus on the human security, and then you still can bring back these three triangle framework and try to dealing with the issues human security. As you know that human security has 7 very important aspects, like economic security, political security, food security, community security, health security, environmental security, and personal security. And all these one, you may connect with their political situation, and which one will be better. And this one, external environment, influence or impact, like globalization and capitalization. And also you may see that some technological change, and this one will be the other framework. And this one I'm just thinking, if you put one country from Southeast Asian country, and then each state's policy always emphasize this one, we may fit in every aspect for the state policy to consider. For example, this is inside the circle, and that is the situation for domestic society or economy. Like you may see that inflation problem, social unrest, pandemic prevention, and rich and poor, the gap is widening, energy and then good, and food and unemployment or something like that. And how about the outside? This is a choice for the state policy to make. For example, like the Industry 4.0, economic growth, and digital economy, and the labor market and job creation, and also supply chain rebuilding, agricultural production, such just like that. Okay, this is a very general inside and outside situation, and for the state to make decision on state policy. Now let's move on to the policy choice, and this is the very structural view for you to thinking about the policy choice, and it will be influenced by the state, also market and society. And this one is another perspective you may consider that. And we bring in today's Southeast Asian countries is not just only the difficulty or dilemma or some challenge from inside, but also from outside. And outside now, the world seems divided. It's under the USA and the China power rivalry or trade disputes. And then now we are really seeing the very uncertain global orders. And also this is a very, it's a time for us to face how to form a new international political and economic orders. Look at this chart, and you may see that Indo-Pacific strategy is from USA, and at the bottom line is a bear and no initiative. And you put in state, market, society, and you may see and how do you to analyze what's possible for the state respond, and how about the market. So this one is coming, you may thinking about the earlier we say that state at fail, or market in crisis, or society is resistance. And this one will be very basic position for the state, or for the market, or for the society. You may try to combine together. And how about this slide? It's talking about the development tendency of ASEAN states with the USA and China power rivalry, and some observation. Now it says, is that can be proved or not? The stronger state lead development with more authoritarian leadership will tend to have a close relations with China. Well, you may question it. And the other one, stronger societal influence with domestic leadership and development will tend to have a closer relations with USA. And how about the other one? It's a stronger market economy lead this kind of development pattern with global capitalism. And it depends, all right? So how about the ASEAN state will be more sensitive or concerned with geopolitics or geoeconomy or economic interest and national security. So this is a very important theoretical background. How about we move to the very practical level? And here I just show you one, state, like Thailand state market society. And the other one is Malaysia. Actually, you got to go through for the 10 countries, but it takes time. But we still can consider like state policy, market recovery, or social unrest. And you may go to the same way to interpret. How about the case of Malaysia? And then for Vietnam, for the Philippines, for other countries. So here, I just try to summarize something about how about superior state or superiority for the state in ASEAN state. And I just try to show you what kind of observation, why I give the number, the value about 3.5 or 3.0. Now I always emphasize that, well, you may not accept it, but for me, now I'm working on, for example, this is very, what can I say? It's very subjective objectivity. And that means when you say someone is very good, well, you may provide some evidence. Well, his attitude is good. And also, his GPA is very high, study hard, but I still don't know exactly how good this student is. How about give me the range, the scale, right? Even though we are doing the research on very quantitative research, but you still can, according to your personal, individual, very professional observation, well, you may tell me if this one is from 1 or 0 to 5, and what kind of value you will give him. He's a good student. You may give him 4.0 or 3.5, right? Even though I use quantitative methods, try to measure it, you still don't have to believe that value is acceptable. But now I'm here just trying to tell you that since you are very professional, you are working on your research, why not? You just give in the value. That means you got to take responsibility, and that is your observations and your research. And finally, I just giving the value just like that. Okay, when you look at the state superiority, and we may see that Indonesia, I use the same standard and to look at the 10 countries, and easier for me to make a comparison. For example, like Indonesia, and the state lead and then I'm giving 3.5. Why I'm giving 3.5? You may look at the other, how about the functional? I mean, for the market function. And how about the society, right? So this number is according to your very general and very comprehensive to see the interaction, to see the impact, influence, challenge from inside, and then finally I'm giving the value. This is just only for your reference only. Like Vietnam 4.0, like Malaysia 3.5, that because have some quite strong from the political party or from the other factors. Now how about Myanmar? Myanmar now is very hard to discuss since now it's under military junta again. How about Singapore? 3.75. If you make a comparison, and then Thailand now 3.5, and Laos 4.5. So this depends how strong for the state in relative to the society. And how about society is part? You may have another view, like Indonesia 3.5, Philippines, the society is a little bit strong. And the value, of course, you can use your way to show us how this value you are supposed to give it. This is according to your measurement, your design, and giving this kind of the value. And this one is good for the reader to understand what you are talking and what you would like to tell us what exactly is. And this is the market, all right? So this one, if you have basic understanding from my ideas, I would like to present here. And in Indonesia, when you look at the market economy, I would like to give 4.0. You may say, well, 3.0 is okay. That's your observation. And then you got to tell me why it's 4.0. All right? And this probably will be different values because you're using the different evidence, different data, and you may show the different way. Okay? And the other one is overall development policy in ASEAN states, and you may see that for the state policy for the 10 different countries, for example, like Indonesia, and global maritime fulcrum, or e-commerce, or smart city, or Indonesia 4.0, something like that. And this one is their main policy they would like to carry out. And how about Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, and whatever? You may have a very quick look. Since I don't have much time, okay, I said 10 minutes. Wow. All right. So I got to go very quickly. And how about the Southeast Asian states foreign policy? And actually, this one I'm working on a special issues. I'm so as a special editor. And I just try to invite several scholars, and then they're doing the research under the impact of USA and China power rivalry, and then I find that, and then I combine all their funding and put together, and you may see that Thailand policy toward USA. P is politics, E is economy oriented. And you may see that where the strong degree is the median and strong or low, and this is just only for you to consider. Because this one will be related to the last part. Okay, I would like to show you it's kind of my observation, also my conclusion for my final remark. And then this one will be a little bit clear about the Vietnam before 2016. And Vietnam's US policy before 2016, there's a 3.0,